and welcome to the Quinn Street Project virtual classroom teaching drama class today. I am Miss Hannah, and I am teaching Valley View Elementary's, one of our kindergarten classes. This is lesson 4, sound and movement. So if you are in Miss Lida's class, we have already done this lesson in class in person together. And if you'd like to skip to the next one, lesson 5, feel free. But if you are in Miss Farrell's class, we did not do this together. So you want to stick around for this video. If you are in Miss Lida's class and want to do it again, feel free to stay. So we are all safe in our own homes, which is sad that we can't be in school right now, but we are very, very happy to learn virtually. So today we will be doing a whole class on sound and movement and how in drama and in our theater class, we can do all different kinds of sound and movement, and it should be really fun. So before we get started, every day we do a warm-up. We have to warm up our 3 tools as an actor. So our 3 tools as an actor are body, voice, and imagination. So let's do those together. We know them pretty well, but let's do it together one more time. Body, voice, and imagination. Great. Make sure to remember all 3 of those. Before we get started, we have to warm up our body, our voice, our imagination. But even before that, we have to do our check-in. So every day in class, we encourage all the students to do a one-word check-in. So families and parents at home, please feel free to encourage your student to give us a little check-in. So one-word check-in, let's be honest about how we're feeling. This is definitely a very interesting and very different time for all of us. And everyone is going to feel really differently. So I'll go first. I'll say my name and one word. My name is Hannah, Miss Hannah, and I am feeling excited. Now, would you like to share one? Great, thanks for sharing. Now, if you are at home, feel free to share that one word with your friends, your family, your stuffed animals, anyone who wants to listen. So, let's warm up that body, voice, and imagination. So let's start with our body. So let's start with a little stretch. So we're going to reach our arms all the way up to the ceiling, and we're going to go one a little higher, and then the other a little higher. And we're going to drop our wrists, we're going to drop our fingertips, our wrists, to our elbows. We're going to drop to our shoulders, and then we're going to roll our shoulders back. Good job. Roll those shoulders forward. We're going to do one backwards, the other backwards, like we're dancing. One forward, the other forward. Now, can you do one backward and one forward at the same time? It's kind of hard, isn't it? And the other one, you may have to practice that later. If you want, you can pause and practice it now. Great. Now, let's pull out a big imaginary crayon out of our pocket. Boop. We're going to stick that big crayon on top of our head. Boop. We're going to put it on our head, and we're going to draw on the ceiling. Now, can you shout out what color your crayon is? Nice. Today, my crayon will be yellow. And we're going to start by drawing big circles on the ceiling. Maybe inside that big circle is a bunch of little circles. Maybe there's some outside. Maybe there's some medium circles. Great job. Have fun with it. Let's pull that crayon off our head. Boop. We're going to break it in half. Boop. Put one on each shoulder. We're going to draw more circles on the ceiling with our shoulders. Maybe you want to add some new shapes. Maybe you want to add some squares, triangles. Feel free to add anything. Now, pull it off of your shoulders, boop, put it back together, boop, put it back in your pocket and say, see you next time. Nice. Last but not least, we want to make sure our face is warm. Our face is big and beautiful. So we're going to open our face as big as we possibly can, as if we were a lion. Ready? Now we're going to make this small as we possibly can, as if there was a lemon inside our mouth. Let's go back and forth. Lion, lemon, lion, lemon, lion, lemon, lion, lemon. Lemon, lion, lemon, lion, lemon, lion, 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 lemon. Great job. That is a fun one. Let's make sure we're all shaked out, ready to go. Shake your fingertips out, your wrists out, your elbows out, your shoulders out, your arms out, your legs, your toes, your head, your whole body. Perfect. Our bodies are warm. Now let's go to our voice. So repeat after me. Ba 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 ba. Pa 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 pa. Ga 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 ga. Da 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 da. Ta 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 ta. Na 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 na. Ma 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 ma. Great job. Now let's do a tongue twister together to really get all of it moving. We've done this in class before, so it might be really easy, but this is a hard one, so let's be careful with it. Okay, ready? I'll say it first and you repeat it. Mommy made me mash my M&Ms. Okay, let's do it again. Mommy made me mash my M&Ms. Nice, let's do it once the whole way through. Mommy made me mash my M&Ms. One more time. Mommy made me mash my M&Ms. Great job. That is a hard one. We'll learn some other ones next time. And our voices are ready, our bodies are ready, and now, last but not least, our imagination. So let's pull out a wonderful piece of bubble gum out of our pocket. Boop. Now, what flavor is that bubble gum? Oh, cool. Mine is strawberry. Stir it in our mouths. Oh, we'll start chewing. It's really cold today, so our gum is going to be very, very cold. So show me that. It's really hard to chew. Oh, but now it's getting nice and warm outside, so it's going to be really easy to chew because it's so soft. Now, the bubble gum is tasting kind of gross. So can you show me on your face, like kind of a yuck face? Oh, but that's going to pass. Now the bubble gum is going to taste really, really delicious. Can you show me on your face that it's just so yummy? Can we blow it into a bubble as big as our face? Let's start small. Pop! Oh, did it get all over your house and your family and your face? Ugh. Take that bubblegum, throw it away. Nicely done. We have our bodies warmed up, our voices warmed up, and our imagination warmed up. So let's get started. Today's lesson is lesson 4, sound and movement. So in the classroom, what we would do is we'd all stand in a big circle, and each one of us would get to do a silly sound and a silly movement. We'd each get to do one all the way around the circle. Once someone does theirs, we all like to repeat what they do. And because we're going back and forth on the computer, what we're going to do instead is I will do one, and then you can share with it, and then you can do one, and unfortunately I won't know what it is, but I'm sure it'll be really good. So I'll do a couple, and you repeat. And then with your family, you can pause and do a bunch with your family. So what we're going to do together is we're going to start by making a super silly movement. So your movement could be like this. It 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 could be anything you want. With your movement, you want to do a silly sound. And you want to do something that's not even a word. Something that's just like boop, 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 la, 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 bom, 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 woo, woo, wow, anything you want. Once we do one, you try the next one. After we do it once, we're going to do it again in slow motion, and then a third time in fast motion, just to have a lot of fun with it. So the first one we're going to do is woo, woo, woo. Can you do that with me? Woo, woo, woo. Then we're going to do it slow motion. Ready? Good job. Now, once fast motion. Woo, woo, woo. Nice. That's a good one. Our next one. Let's do boop, 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 boop. Can we do it together? Boop, 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 boop. Let's do it in slow motion. Boop, 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 boop. Nice. Let's do it fast. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, fun. Okay, we'll do one more with me, and then you can pause and do some on your own or with your family. The last one we'll do is, We'll do this. Whoosh. You ready? Whoosh. Slow motion. Whoosh. fast motion. Whoosh! Good job. All right, pause and do a bunch just with you and your family. Did you do a couple on your own? I really hope you had fun with them, because I sure had a lot of fun. Now, with all of our Valley View classes, we are working on the wonderful story, Rosie Revere, Engineer. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take our story, and I'm going to read it to you over the computer. And I'm going to stop at certain points and ask you to do a sound and a movement with what I've just said. So it might be something, Rosie Revere is inventing something, and I'll ask you to do it. It might be that she's talking to a friend or someone in her classroom, and I'll ask you to do it. I'm not going to do these because I want you to use your imagination and come up with your own. There's so many you could use, so it'll be really, really fun. Well, let me pull up the story and get it ready to go. We have read our story a couple times in class. If you are able to read it again on your own, you really should because it's a terrific story. Okay, let's get started. Rosie Revere, Engineer by Andrea Beatty. This is the story of Rosie Revere, who dreamed of becoming a great engineer. In Lila Greer's classroom at Blue River Creek, young Rosie sat shyly, not daring to speak. But when no one saw her, she peeked in the trash for treasures to add to her engineer's stash. Okay, let's do our first one. Can you do a sound and movement of Rosie Revere peeking into the trash and finding something great? Okay, go for it. Oh, good one. And late at night, Rosie rolled up her sleeves and built in her hideaway under the eaves. Alone in her attic, the moon high above, dear Rosie made gadgets and gizmos she loved. And when she grew sleepy, she hid her machines far under her bed, where they'd never be seen. When Rosie was young, she had not been so shy. She worked with her hair swooping over one eye and made fine inventions for her uncles and aunts, a hot dog dispenser and helium pants. The uncle she loved most was zookeeper Fred. She made him a hat to keep the snakes off his head. From parts of a fan and some cheddar cheese spray, which everyone knows keeps the pythons away. Can you do a sound and a movement for zookeeper Fred wearing his hat that keeps the pythons away? Okay, go for it. Oh, very creative. And when it was finished, young Rosie was proud, but Fred slapped his knee and chuckled out loud. Can we slap our knee and chuckle out loud? Nicely done. He laughed till he wheezed and his eyes filled with tears, all to the horror of Rosie Revere, who stood there embarrassed, perplexed, and dismayed. She looked at the cheese hat and then looked away. I love it, Fred hooted. Oh, truly I do. But Rosie Revere knew that could not be true. She stuck the cheese hat on the back of her shelf, and after that day kept her dreams to herself. And that's how it went until one autumn day, her oldest relation showed up for a stay. Her great-great-aunt Rose was a true dynamo who'd worked building airplanes a long time ago. Can you do a sound and movement for her great-great-aunt Rose building airplanes? Oh, terrific! She told Rosie tales of things she had done and goals she had checked off her list one by one. She gave a sad smile and looked at the sky. The only thrill left on my list is to fly. But time never lingers as long as it seems. I'll chalk that one up to an old lady's dreams. That night, as Rosie lay side-eyed in bed, a daring idea crept into her head. Could she build a gizmo to help her aunt fly? She looked at her cheese hat and said, No, not I. But questions are tricky and some hold on tight. And this one kept Rosie awake through the night. So when dawn approached and red streaks lit the sky, young Rosie knew just how to make her aunt fly. She worked and she worked till the day was half gone. Can you do Rosie Revere working with a sound and movement, making something, inventing? Oh, perfect. She then hauled her cheese copter out onto the lawn to give her invention a test just to see the ridiculous flop it might turn out to be. She strapped into the cockpit. She flipped on the switch. The Helio Cheesecopter puttered and twitched. It floated a moment and whirled round and round, then froze for a heartbeat and crashed to the ground. Now, being very careful, can you do a sound and movement for the Helio Cheesecopter flying and then crashing to the ground? Be careful, though. Oh, good job. Then Rosie heard laughter and turned round to see the old woman laughing and slapping her knee. She laughed till she wheezed, her eyes filled with tears, all to the horror of Rosie Revere. Can we do laughing so hard that we cry? Okay, sound and movement. Oh, very funny. Rosie Revere, who thought, oh no, never, not ever again will I try to build something that will sputter and spin, or build with a lever or a switch or a gear, and never will I be a great engineer. She turned round to leave, but then great Great-Aunt Rose grabbed hold of young Rosie and pulled her in close, and hugged her and kissed her and started to cry. You did it! Hooray! It's the perfect first try. This great flop is over. It's time for the next. Young Rosie was baffled, embarrassed, perplexed. I failed, said dear Rosie. It's just made of trash. Didn't you see it? The cheesecopter crashed. Yes, said her great aunt, it crashed. That is true. But first, it did just what it needed to do. Before it crashed, Rosie, before that, it flew. Your brilliant first flop was a raging success. Come on, let's get busy and on to the next. She handed a notebook to Rosie Revere, who smiled at her aunt as it all became clear. Life might have its failures, but this was not it. The only true failure can come if you quit. They worked till the sun sneaked away to its bed. Aunt Rosie tied her headscarf around Rosie's head and sent her to sleep with a smile ear to ear, to dream the bold dreams of a great engineer. Can we do a sound and movement for sleeping with a big smile ear to ear? Fun. At Blue River Creek, all the kids in grade 2 built gizmos and gadgets and doohickeys too. With each perfect failure, they all stand and cheer, but none quite as proudly as Rosie Revere. Thanks for joining with that story with me. That was a really, really fun class. Thank you so much for participating. Last but not least, we always like to do a reflection on how we feel our class went. So all together, let's do a thumbs up if we thought it was a really, really fun class and I had a lot of fun. Thumbs middle if I thought it was okay. Virtual learning is a little bit different than the classroom. And a thumbs down if we're just not feeling it today. Okay, ready? Share with me how you're feeling. Thank you. I appreciate you being honest with me. How we always end each class is we take our hand, we put it forward, and we do a big yay drama class. Okay, ready? Yay drama class. Thanks, guys.